Two kids from New York State recovering tonight after a bizarre accident. A kid's bounce house swept high into the air by high winds, and the kids were dumped out. That inflatable bounce house carried two kids 2 stories into the air and then dropped them to the ground.
Unbelievable. And tonight we've got your back with tips on what you should do to make sure your kids stay safe in those bounce houses. News 8's Josh Scheinblum has more tonight.
If you are a child or child at heart, there are few things more fun than getting the chance to bounce around in a bouncy house. But unless the proper precautions are taken first, it can be a very dangerous situation.
There really aren't many things that can go wrong with them.
This is Eric Olette, a parent with a passion for bounce houses. And like most who've seen this picture,
As a parent, I was absolutely horrified when I saw those pictures. And
he's scratching his head trying to figure out how one of these devices in upstate New York ended up airborne, injuring 3 children.
I can't speculate, but I would almost always assume that it wasn't properly staked down, and that the people that were in charge of watching their children just were not paying attention to the winds that were happening.
Eric is an expert of fun bouncy contraptions. A Milford firefighter by trade, he runs his own inflatable company called Let's Bounce, located in Easton, Connecticut.
We are a licensed company, we are insured.
And he says there are things parents can do to prevent something like this from happening to their family. One way, he tells us, is to go over a safety checklist before children are ever allowed to go inside the structure.
Things that are on the safety checklist are to make sure that the children aren't doing anything that can cause them to get hurt, jumping around, jumping on each other. This unit right here very clearly states that during inclement weather, if winds exceed 20 miles an hour, that they are instructed to take it down.
And it's important to point out that the consumer-grade bouncy house is the one that ended up in the skies over New York, not the commercial grade as Eric uses. Instead, Eric says a better course of action is to hire a professional to do the work for you by renting one from someone like him. It may, Eric says, be the factor between a fun afternoon and this.
And one last piece of advice, if you think there's anything wrong with your bouncy house and don't know what to do, you can always just turn it off. In Easton, Josh Scheinblum, News 8.